Captain's log, stardate, wrong fandom. 4 ABY, the Battle of Endor and the fate of the galaxy scourges on. On the second Death Star, the battle between the dark and the light, the Jedi and the Sith continues. Much like his father before him, Luke Skywalker is tempted by the dark side.
Strike me down with all of your hatred.
We know how that story went, but what if fate decided to change its plans? What if Luke turned to the dark side? Let's take an EU story and have some fun. Star Wars fans, don't hate me now. But to make this alternative timeline work, we have to make some drastic changes to the epic battle on the second Death Star. Our first question to answer is, what would cause Luke to turn to the dark side? The threat to Leia almost pushed him over the edge, but right at the end, seeing himself inching closer and closer to his father's path, kept Luke in check and allowed him to stay in the light. The danger of his friends and the rebellion wasn't enough to turn him, so what would be? What if Luke was made to believe that joining the dark side was the only way to stop the dark side? According to Rise of Skywalker novelization, it was always Palpatine's plan to push Luke to the dark side so that he could use the essence transfer and obtain Luke's body as his new vessel. So rather than using Luke's friends as bait, what if Palpatine lets his secret go, that no matter what happens to him, he will rise over and over again? Could this get Luke to turn to the dark side? I say yes, because the exact thing happened in the EU comic series Dark Empire, which is inspiring this what if. In the comics, set 6 years after the return of the Jedi, Luke felt a huge disturbance in the Force. The dark side was rising, and wouldn't you know it, it was good old Palpy in a new clone body. In their encounter, Palpatine explains the way of essence transfer, and goads Luke into believing that the only way to stop him is for Luke to learn the secrets of the dark side. With that, and what feels like no other option, Luke makes his father's destiny his own, and becomes the apprentice. If this interaction were to go down on the second Death Star, how does this change Star Wars history? I imagine that just like in the EU comic, Luke would see no other way to stop Palpatine. Unfortunately, this means Palpatine now has no other use for Darth Vader besides being a tool towards Luke's transformation. Luke must take his father's life to solidify his turn to the dark side. Immediately, Luke locks eyes with Vader and now realizes he's been a pawn from the beginning. Hearing the truth of essence transfer, Vader flashes back to the day his mind was warped into believing there was a way to save Padme. Luke's grass-colored blade ignites, snapping Vader, now Anakin, back to the present as their blades clash. An interesting parallel in this duel is how similar it would be to Anakin's fateful bout with Obi-Wan on the fiery planet of Mustafar. Like Obi-Wan, Vader would plead that joining Sidious and the dark side isn't the way. As we mentioned, Anakin now realizes Palpatine's manipulation. It was Palpatine who ruined his life. It was Sidious who took Padme away from him. These thoughts would awaken an anger in Anakin like never before. Drawing on the dark side, the duel of the Skywalkers would grow more intense. Red and green would flash before Sheev's golden eyes, whose laugh echoes throughout the throne room. However, as the duel goes on, Anakin would realize that this fight is only pushing Luke further to the dark side. In a final attempt to connect with Luke, he removes his helmet to look at Luke with his own baby blue eyes, and pleads for Luke to stop sharing his own tragic story. Now, Luke has a choice: stay in the light or fall to the dark. In a moment that feels like a lifetime, green illuminates the room, and life fades from Anakin's eyes. The Chosen One is no more, and Luke's transition to the dark side is complete. What happens now that the galaxy's last hope turned to the very side they're against? Once again, the Death Star would fall. But in our what-if tale, Luke and Palpatine would escape the vessel before it met its fate. However, this would be unknown to the galaxy, except Leia, who could feel Luke's presence through the Force. Something would be different though. She would feel the shift within him. What was once full of light is now filled with anger and hatred. Leia would try to reach out to Luke, but Luke would cut the connection off. Clouded by the dark side, it's like Luke doesn't exist. And that's the way it would stay for the next 6 years. After the Empire's defeat, there would be much change across the galaxy. The New Republic has risen, but as we've seen in The Mandalorian, the Republic hasn't done the best job in leading. Citizens deep in the Outer Rim still struggle with homeworld threats such as pirates, raiders, and others. The Empire, while vanquished, lives on through remnants who battle for supremacy. Without Luke, there are no Jedi to protect the peace. But these are the least of the New Republic's worries. On a fateful day, Leia would be awoken by a vision in the Force, a vision of her father who would actually be Luke. He would explain to Leia that this threat is coming to the galaxy, a threat he is leading. Luke would tell Leia that he has joined the dark side of the Force in order to stop the dark side from within, but his viewpoint has changed. In these last 6 years, he's learned from its secrets and has come to the conclusion that the dark side can't be stopped. It is the dark side of the Force that needs to be embraced, like the Empire. Luke would go on to express how the Republic has failed the galaxy since Endor. The galaxy is in need of change, and Luke is that change. He would tell Leia to stand down, or at least abandon the New Republic, because the Empire will not be stopped. These words would shock Leia. How could Luke believe something like this? Suddenly, another presence overshadows Skywalker's, and Leia begins to feel and hear the tones of the dark side. All we hear is the iconic sinister cackle that has plagued the galaxy for years. Emperor Palpatine has returned. As fast as the vision ends, Luke's prophecy of danger is realized. An emergency meeting of the Alliance command staff has been called. Endor, the very planet that won the Republic the Galaxy Civil War, is nothing more than space rocks. We learn that it was destroyed by the Empire's new secret weapon, the World Devastator. With a tractor beam, this World Smasher can tear the planet beneath it apart, and then use the resources to crank out starships, fighters, and droids that would be sent straight into battle off the assembly line. As they speak, the new fleet is moving from planet to planet, crushing those who sympathize with the New Republic. Led by Han Solo, the squadron of X-Wings are sent to deal with the new threat. Before his departure, Leia would warn Han of her vision. Like classic Han, he would make a joke out of it, but this is a warning that shouldn't be taken lightly. This dogfight would be like nothing ever before seen in Star Wars. Compared to the World Devastators, who released new fully robotic TIE fighters in minutes from the planetary wreckage acquired from its ventures, the X-Wings are nothing more than flies. Left and right Republic forces are swatted from the skies, but the mission must go on. In the midst of the chaos, Han is able to sneak his way inside one of the Devastators to gain the intel needed to stop the mechanical beasts. However, he would find something much more terrifying: Luke Skywalker. Picking up right where we left off, Han would be shell-shocked to see Luke. Physically, Luke looks the same, but his cold Sith yellow eyes are a hard dart to Han's soul. This isn't the Luke he once knew. The two would engage in heated conversation. How dare Luke turn against the Republic, his family, and most importantly, Leia? Luke doesn't stagger. His eyes remain focused as ever, almost as if he can't hear what Han is saying. Luke, much like he told Leia, would ask Han to take Leia and leave. This moment in history cannot be stopped. To Han, that's just an excuse. Han would plead that we all have choices. Maybe the Empire can't be stopped, but we have the choice to do and be better. If Luke chooses this path, he's no better than his father. Luke tells Han to leave once again, but in defiance, Han pulls out his blaster. Han, enraged, fires over and over again until Luke has enough. Luke accidentally propels Han's shot back at him, impaling him in the chest. Han, with life leaving his body, only stares at Luke with haunting eyes. Across the galaxy, Leia can feel what has transpired through the Force. She knows what Luke has done, and he's not done yet. Luke, with pain and grief stricken across his face, returns to his command and orders his fleet to end the fight. Turning on the tractor beam, Luke rips apart the planet underneath his cold-hearted machine, and his robotic TIE fighters consume the last of the Republic forces. Back at base, the Republic is at a loss for words. Han is no more, Luke is now the enemy, and Leia, leader of the rebellion, is crushed. She's lost everything, and the Empire's fleet is making its way to Chandrila, New Republic capital. All they fought for seems to be coming to an end. Although in pain, Leia doesn't waver. Like Han said, we have a choice, and Leia chooses to fight. In another emergency meeting, Leia does her best to inspire the remaining forces to hold on to hope, like they did when taking down the Death Stars. In both cases, they made the impossible possible, and they can do it again. When it comes to Luke, Leia believes he can be redeemed. If he couldn't, he wouldn't have given Leia warning of his impending attack. But what if Luke can't be saved? Well, Leia confirms with them that if he can't be, she will do what has to be done. Deep in the inner rim of the galaxy, our fallen Jedi stares out into the galaxy as he's looking for answers, forgiveness. That answer would soon come as Emperor Palpatine enters. Luke kneels to his master. The Dark Lord of the Sith explains that their time has come. Finally, the Sith will vanquish all light from the galaxy and will reign supreme. Peace will finally be brought to the galaxy. That's if Luke can accomplish one last task. Palpatine directs Luke to end Leia's life. Palpatine can feel the light still burn within her, and until that is extinguished, the hope that fuels the Republic will return. Luke looks up to his master, and without skipping a beat, tells him it will be done. The World Devastator and Empire fleet blast off into hyperspace. The final battle draws near. So, what do you guys think of this what if so far? I got a little carried away, and what was supposed to be one video now needs to be 2 videos. That's if you want to see more. If you do, be sure to spam "Give us part 2" in the comments. to make sure that we get this second part done.